partnership with Wing VC, we are at Nasdaq's market site celebrating the Enterprise Tech 30 list. My name is Christina Ayanian, and joining me today is CEO and co-founder of Hugging Face, Clement Delangue. Clement, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Now, Hugging Face has gained immense popularity, especially in the AI boom. Can you talk a little bit about what your company does and what is your mission?
Yeah, Hugging Face is the most used open platform for AI builders. So we have over 15,000 companies using us, over 3,000 customers, hundreds of thousands of daily active users using our platform, the Hugging Face platform, to build models, share models, train models, test models, and ultimately integrate AI into their products, their workflows, or their features.
You're really bridging the gap between humans and machines in that sense.
Yeah, and we kind of like consider that there's a new paradigm to build all technology, all software that is AI. And this is something of a transition that is hard to do for most companies. So our goal is really to make that easier for them, thanks to open source and open science.
You have made a lot of contributions in open source. For some of the viewers who don't know, can you talk about what open source is and how it contributes to AI?
Yeah, so there are thousands of scientists all over the world training new models, building new architectures. And the beauty of their work is that they share that with the world when they discover new ways of doing that better. And so on the platform, you'll find over 200,000 open source models that have been shared by the community. Some of them you might have heard of, like Stable Diffusion, for example, Bloom, StarCoder, which is like a code model that has been released just last week. So these are kind of like foundational building blocks that companies can use to build AI better and faster within their organizations.
Why do you think open source is the right tool to build AI upon?
Well, I think there are two approaches for AI right now. There are some companies that are mostly using AI through APIs and kind of like outsourcing that to others. And that's fine, that's good. That's usually a nice starting point because it's easier at the beginning. But ultimately, if you want to become a truly AI company, you'll need to learn how to train models yourself, optimize models yourself, deploy these models at scale. That's what's going to kind of like differentiate you and allow you to offer the best service to your customers, right? And to do that, you need open source because it's really hard to start from scratch, right? You need to adopt the best practices that you find in open source and be able to evolve thanks to open science and open source as fast as the field is evolving.
Are there any risks to this approach?
Yes, it's a bit more challenging at the beginning because it's a harder, longer learning curve, right? It requires a bit more time and resource investments from companies. But the same way, companies transition from being non-software companies to being software companies, I think the rewards long-term are going to be much bigger because when you start to be able to develop AI the same way you build software at the same speed, you really unlock completely new capabilities and new ways to service your customers, maybe 10 times, 50 times, 100 times better than what you would do before.
How does Hugging Face contribute to this? With all of the attention that you're receiving, how does Hugging Face contribute to the world of AI? Can you give some use cases?
Yes, it's very broad right now. We're really seeing AI as the new default to build software and technology for all kinds of companies and industries, right? It goes from text with kind of like improving, for example, search engines, improving like moderation, for example, if you're a search platform, improving text generation with autocomplete, for example, but also audio, so translating audio into text, image, video, for example, removing your background on Zoom. And now what we're seeing is that it's also expanding to other modalities. Like we're starting to see time series, for example, for finance predictions, or like your ETA on Uber is powered by transformers now. We're starting to see recommender systems, right, to recommend products, recommend suggestions. We're starting to see biology, chemistry. So it's really starting to infuse into all companies and all domains today.
It really sounds like a holistic approach that spans across multiple industries. So the opportunities are really endless. Where do you see the company going in 5 to 10 years? What does the future hold?
So I think in 5 years, all tech companies will be AI companies. Maybe we won't even call it AI anymore because it's going to be synonymous to technology or to software. And hopefully with Hugging Face, we can be kind of like the foundational platform for all of that. So some of our focus has been, as I mentioned, kind of like expansion to new domains with like biology, chemistry, time series, recommender systems, making these systems more powerful, which means increasing their accuracy and creating new capabilities for them, and making it always like easier for companies, right? And hopefully in a few months, in a few years, when companies have made these transitions, they can build AI systems as fast, as iteratively, as efficiently as they do software today.
You've definitely built a great tool with a strong foundation and really forward thinking. It's a forward thinking platform. What advice do you have for entrepreneurs who are just starting out?
Well, obviously to embrace AI, right? I think starting a company today without AI would be like starting a company 15 years ago without software, right? You'll be missing out on a lot of opportunities and a lot of capabilities, and you'll run the risk of getting competed with. And when I say kind of like embrace AI, I'm thinking not just kind of like using an API or like outsourcing your AI to someone else, but really training models yourself, optimizing models yourself, deploying models yourself. It's a challenge because it leads to a very different kind of startup and company, right? For example, you can't build like a very lean, very iterative startup. Maybe you'll need more compute, so you'll have to raise more and spend more from the get-go. But in my opinion, with these capabilities, if you really build an AI native, an AI first startup, you can do something 100x better than the incumbents or the previous generation of software companies. And that's how ultimately you're going to thrive as a founder and as a startup.
Really embedding it in your company. I like the comment that you made for, years from now, we're not even going to mention it as a subsector of technology. AI is just going to be integrated.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing. We look forward to continuing following your story. Congratulations on all of your success, and looking forward to having you in person at Nasdaq soon.
Yeah, hopefully soon.